How's it going, trainers? Coming at you with an aggressively slanted Mismagius deck today. This card hits hard, 70 points of damage for just 2 energy, and the confusion mechanic makes your opponent flip a coin every turn to see if their attack will have any effect. We pair this with Azelf to allow us to soften up things in the back so Mismagius can clear them quicker and just get chip shots of damage marked so our 2 copies of Cyrus can drag things kicking and screaming back to the front of the line that our opponent would really rather keep to safety. Our promo copy of Mismagius as a basic for Mismagius is quite potent in this deck as well. The 1 energy confusion attack is incredible against things like Charizard that are looking to charge up early with a Moltres, giving them a much more likely chance to brick altogether. Dawn's an especially sneaky card inside of this deck alongside of our copies of X-Speed. It lets us do something like put an energy on Azelf and attack on the first turn, then we can X-Speed that Azelf out, put the Mismagius up, and get attacking with it the following turn right away. I think these games are going to highlight that this deck has an incredible range of lines. I think this is one I'm definitely going to be optimizing this season for tournament play because it really makes my brain feel wrinkly when it all comes together. If you enjoy what you see, smash that button for the rest of the day. Have fun. Yeah, hopefully EXs for Empoleon and whatever the turtle's called. On first energy advantage, but have Azelf to start, which is nice. Howdy nukes. I think you have some of the least rage among Pokemon Pocket creators. Listen, I used to fly across the country to lose round 1 to missing my 3rd land drop in game 3. All of the variants Pokemon Pocket throws at me in comparison is like very small. I assume they're entering the active one because Azelf attacks anything, but they're actually doing the back one, sure. Put an arrow into the Magnemite. Tournaments ever guarantee who goes first each game? They do not, because you'd have to like sit there and remake games constantly until the coin flip came up the way you wanted it to, which is incredibly tedious and time wasting. So you're right, it would be more fair if you alternated who had first energy advantage, but be incredibly tedious to implement. You know, we need a proper best of 3 client for sure. Is Mew ever useful in this matchup? I'm not sure that it is, yeah? I guess it's okay into the Magna Zone angle. If they don't force the Darkrai to the active spot and they don't have the Magna Zone, the Azelfs can run that down in the back, which is nice. Just keep shooting, just keep shooting. Awkwardness on the damage break points here, though, I suppose. If they Magna Zone and move it to the active spot, having marked 60 on it only lets me deal, puts them to 80, which means my Mismagius is still 10 points short here, which is clunky. Yeah, the Cyrus lets him finish here, too. That means they can't put the Magnezone up though, right? Which seems fine for me. Okay, so that's their only Cyrus. They still have a copy of Sabrina though. Speaking of Cyrus. This might be wrong. It helps me play around Sabrina, though, which is nice. I think I want to mark damage on their Darkrai. Because putting damage on the Darkrai means that even with their one copy of Cape, Mismagius clears it in 2. Hey, look, it's the thing we played around. With Mismagius. It's close though. I mean, that saves me a Cyrus, yeah? I should have Pokeballed. I'm just lost in the sauce. We draw our other, what's it called, Mischievous this turn. It's on me. I need to play this out this turn now, so that way I don't lose to Sabrina. Otherwise, I lose to Sabrina. We put the energy on here, we clear the Magnezone. They're through their one copy of Cyrus. They used it to pick up a single knockout point, which I think was probably a mistake on their part. They have no more healing or sustain in their deck. So, what's the line from here? They've not played any copies of Leaf. They have 2 of those. I have another Cyrus in my deck though too. So I think it's Cyrus, grab this, X-speed this out, hit them with the Mismagius. And then they die 2-second Cyrus, which is 20% next turn. And then I'll play my other Mismagius out here so we don't die to their copy of Sabrina. No more healing, no potions or capes out of them from here. That 20 damage we marked with Azelf earlier in this game, being potentially very instrumental in allowing us to win it. All right, 20% to win the game on the spot. We're not dead the following turn though, so. Are we 100% from here? I think this is checkmate because we have the research. So research draws us 2 of the remaining cards. And then next turn, they cannot Leaf and Sabrina because the Drudagon is in their active spot. So long as I pull this out and put up the 140, my opponent can't get a knockout on my active Pokemon and they can't pull something else up while also retreating this. And then Oh, I guess we weren't 100%. There were still 2 cards in my deck. We were incredibly likely. So long as our second Cyrus wasn't the literal bottom card, we were good here. I don't know if this deck is good, chat, but it's definitely generating games of Pokemon Pocket that I enjoy, which is all I really want out of life, right? Like, I just want to play fun games, and this game feels like an incredible showcase of win, lose, and the third one in the match. Like, this was an awesome game to play. What would you like to see added in Pokemon Pocket? I would like a EX Dragon Pokemon. So hopefully Giratina's coming in the next card packs. Would be fun. This is a matchup where having Promo Misdrevious is a huge leg up. Getting to confuse Ray Moltres, so it has to flip a coin before it flips coins, makes their ramp a lot less consistent. Monkey Paw Curls, your EX Dragon needs 3 energy types. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think if they did that, though, they would finally give us a card that makes energy stuff more consistent. Like, they gave us a card in this card pack that makes Stage 2s more consistent in Pokemon communication. I assume it's only a matter of time before we get something that makes what's it called more consistent. All right, well, they hit heads on the first one, and then they hit tails on the next 3, so we take those. It's a shame I don't have a copy of Cyrus, because if I had a copy of Cyrus, this Azelf could tag the Charmander, and then we could drag it kicking and screaming to the front and clear it with the Misdrevious. As is, I think we charge this up, and then we just build the Mew. We go from there. Shaman. One of the Charizard decks that made a deep run this past weekend was playing one of these as their 5th basic. Super relevant breakpoint here for them. No Charmeleon means we're probably done here. Good night, my sweet prince. It's the dawning of the age of Mismagius. Age of Mismagius. And one of the sweet things about this deck being a Dawn deck is our Mew having 1 energy means it's fully charged for Charizard. Cooked. Cooked! They were cooked even if they had Charizard and hit energies there. With the Mew ready to go, we were gonna run him down. You're a lightning deck. I think we lead Mew to take hits in the lightning matchup, probably. Generally speaking, I won't start taking viewer deck submissions until we're a week or so into the format. I want to play things that I want to play early on. That is a 30 damage Pikachu attack right there. And then the interesting thing about the copy of Dawn here is that with the second Mismagius, I could swap these and put the energy on the other one. But we're pulling the Pikachu out. Yeah, I guess they would need to flip a coin for Pikachu to deal damage, so it's just not worth staying in. I've had a few people since we started playing this deck comment that Confusion is bad. And what those people are doing in an incredibly reductionist way is acknowledging the fact that Confusion is generally worse than Sleep or Paralyze. However, while Confusion is mechanically worse than Sleep and Paralyze, the attacks that are confusing and the cards that have Confusion in their effects are also statted in a way that acknowledges this reality. So what does that mean? It means that I get to do 70 damage for 2 energy and confuse, whereas something like, say, Wigglytuff EX expects to 3 energy for a sleep effect. The double Rocky Helmet here into the double potion is a tough nut to crack. I am currently coordinating with my tournament organizer and Spraggles to figure out when we can do another tournament. There will definitely be another one. So the Dawn play the previous turn would have played around double potion. But the thing you need to ask yourself is, are you meaningfully supposed to play around double potion there? So getting better at games like this isn't just, could I have played around the thing that they've done? It's, should I have played around the thing that they did with the information that I had at the time? Our Cyruses are just buried here. We're playing 2 of those. It's our second X speed though, right? No, it's the first one. There are a combination of draws they could have that punish this. Like Dawn would be bad for me, but I do think we just take this knockout. Yes. And then if we draw Cyrus, we win the game next turn, assuming they don't have a copy of Dawn. And if we don't draw Cyrus and they do, oh, they don't have energy for Dawn anymore because I cleared it. Yeah, never mind. No, this is great. In my brain, they still had energy. So now they lose to Cyrus on the spot. And if we don't draw Cyrus, we confuse the Zapdos. Cool. Yeah. This was really clean. I think this deck has a lot of potential, chat. The core of what we got going here is likely very solid. Azelf doing its best far-fetched impersonation into a turn 1 Riolu here. Any good Charizard decks for this meta? You should check out my meta report where I talk about the successful Charizard decks from over the weekend. If you're new here, I do a weekly series where I do a data-driven analysis of the best decks in Pokemon Pocket every single weekend. This weekend, we looked at over 3,500 deck lists and cross-referenced them with the most successful builds, of which there were 400. Well, this was a pretty strong start for them, but Cyrus here is an incredible pull for our side. If they have Leaf, they'd still clear through the Cape, but I think that's fine. I think I want to beat an X-Speed. The first X-Speed means they're more likely to have a second, rather than Leaf. They could be playing both, though. Some of these decks play a split. So there. The worst case scenario for us here is they have Leaf plus Graveler that attacks for 2. No Leaf is great. So we're looking to draw our stage 1 here. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm probably just supposed to clean the Lucario, yeah? I think it's clean the Lucario, start building up Mew. I guess I could clean the Lucario with Mew and not give them the first point. Do I want to communicate this turn? Communicating this turn doesn't really change any of my decisions. So generally speaking, you want to communicate as late as possible. If they like Sabrina me, I'm putting up Azelf instead of this anyways. So the Mismagius, hitting the Mismagius this turn doesn't accomplish anything. So there's no reason to do it. Lennon Meister, thanks for that brand new Prime support. Appreciate it. Those bits of direct support are a big part of why it's able to be my job. Thanks for keeping me around. There she is. So we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll go X speed. We'll clean this out, and then I think we're done from here. At a minimum, this deck tickles my brain and has interesting lines. Remains to be seen if it's actually good, but I'm enjoying the play patterns for sure. And I would have just seen your original statement if you would have just posted it again a couple minutes later. They're a fighting deck. Do I want to lead on Azelf or Farfetch'd against fighting? Azelf's probably fine. It's likely type advantage anyways, yeah? We'll chill on this for now because we might want to communicate with it. Hey, thanks for the biddies, Jace. Appreciate it. I think Gengar EX can see some game with the new cards. I think Gengar EX was bad before the new cards, is likely still bad after them. Hobbit, thank you for the exactly 4 years. Welcome back. Hey, what's going on, Rad? Congrats to your Dialga crack. That card's pretty reasonable. There's a few different builds on on the Hooglandia Pocket channel at this point. A couple of deck list roundup videos from last week. It always makes me chuckle when people comment on cards relying on coin flips in Pokemon Pocket, because what is drawing a card from your deck every single turn if not just a series of coin flips? Haba Hut, thank you for the 56 months. Players have such a visceral negative association with implicit variance versus explicit variance. Or a coin flip is explicit, it's in your face. And drawing a card is implicit, it's a variance element, but it's not like a coin flipping, so it's easier to be like, that wasn't really random. My lack of X speed drawn here is sad. We're just crunching here again. I guess I could have... Maybe I'm supposed to 20 the Riolu, so that way the Lucario dies in one to Mismagius with weakness? Because the Mismagius was going to clear this anyways, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Them swapping here means this is fine, though, yeah? Your Jamp, okay. I guess I need to draw X speed now. Oh, actually, I didn't need to draw X speed here. It's nice that I did, but I could have energy retreated and then dawned up my energy. This is noteworthy here. I think I'm gonna put this one out here on the bench to be able to evolve it next turn. Here's a thought. Do I use my Dawn this turn? So that way, because I'm not using a different supporter. Yeah, I think so. I think I Dawn this turn. Because I wanna put an energy on here so I can have another Mismagius ready to go next turn, I think is the game plan. Yeah, it frees me up to be able to Cyrus down the line too. And then these two Azelfs are pretty scary here for them, right? Because I'm gonna get to crack them down to 10, and then these Azelfs can pick them off the bench at any point. And that's even if that even assumes they like hit their confusion flip at that too. So they'll have a 50%er to do Stone Cold nothing. And then even if they win their 50%er while having this, they still won't clear us. Hey, Kazua, thank you for the gifted sub. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be playing the tournament live on stream this afternoon. Yeah, stop by my live stuff. We usually play tournaments every day during the week. We'll be streaming them here. Okay, and then they have 0 knockout points here between my 2 copies of Cyrus and my 2 copies of Azelf. This is kind of just like a build our own adventure book to clear them here, huh? I'm gonna fetch up our other Mismagius just so we have it here. Yes, that is... Hedge, when I was putting this deck together, I was like, this is kind of a psychic version of the Hitmonlee decks, where you're playing Mismagius as your Aerodactyl, essentially, was the line of thinking. Oh, we could just kill the ape. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't think there was a wrong way to eat the Rhesus Gamers. Azelf is a very playable card. Like I said, I think the Lake Trio as a whole is not particularly good, but Azelf is definitely solid. I think playing a deck that wants to minimize the variance you experience is really fair. That's fine, but the idea that a deck that has coins in it is automatically lower variance than another deck is not inherently true. For example, I would argue a deck that has coin flips in it but doesn't rely on stage 2 Pokemon is probably lower variance overall than a deck that has stage 2 Pokemon, because stage 2 Pokemon experience more draw variance. Huh. Against starting Fire Energy, they're most likely to be a Moltres deck. So with first Energy Advantage, I think I lead on this. So that way we have a chance to brick their Inferno Dance to start. Y Sticks, thanks for the almost 5 years of subs. Welcome back. I know you've been here even longer than that. Bucks Fan, thanks for the brand new primer. Appreciate all the folks helping us stay above our sub goal. Whenever I am live on twitch.tv, you can almost always find me streaming at the Hooglandia Pocket channel on YouTube as well, if you prefer a non-Twitch platform. This is the face of someone that knows their opponent's about to flip tails, chat. What card has surprised you the most so far? I mean, I think anybody that says anything other than Magnezone to that question is kidding themselves. So they need to hit heads on this one, and then they also need to hit heads on their coins for the what's it called? So this one does not give them an energy. Now they get to flip for energy. What decks match up well into Darkrai Magnezone? The Darkrai Magnezone deck had even or favorable matchups into every established good deck this past weekend. So if it's going to not be the top tier must-beat deck that's played by a lot, there's going to need to be other innovations in the metagame. If you're looking for potential insight into those innovations, the has some potentials for that. I should put the Mew up here. I guess if they pivot into Rapidash and hit a heads here, they could clear us out. I think there's lots of interesting ways to explore attacking the Darkrai Magnezone deck. This deck's actually exploring one of them, using a way to attack bench Pokemon, and then using Cyrus to drag them kicking and screaming to the front to clear them out before they're set up is an interesting way to approach attacking that. There's things like Venusaur that has more sustain, and Shaman to help you get around their constant chip shot damage. I am very optimistic we have good tools in this metagame to allow us to play through and around that strategy. This Tails here is huge. It means that they don't pick up their first point, and I get to X-speed this back out, kind of making their Sabrina real medium. We're going to save this last bench slot here with the second Mismagius draw, just in case we find our other basic. We have an energy going here on Mew, and then something that's noteworthy here is that with the Dawn in hand and this having an energy on it, we could actually threaten genome hacking as early as next turn, which is sweet. They're playing Charizard and Rapidash. That's interesting. It's a pretty big hit. Oh, that was the confusion hit. I forgot. Okay, cool. So it's not a big hit. It's a little hit. They needed 2 heads in a row to have a big hit. It's good clean living right there, gamers. The number one thing I want to reiterate, and if you haven't watched my metagame report from yesterday, you should definitely watch it. But for people that are talking about the Darkrai Magnezone being insane and unbeatable because of its one weekend performance, the Darkrai Magnezone deck had what I refer to as 192% performance delta, i.e. it gained almost 200% from its starting metagame distribution to its top performing deck metagame distribution. If we look at our previous format, Gyarados Greninja, its first weekend of competitive play, had like 176 performance delta. So it also converted almost plus 200%. Shame we didn't draw Cyrus there to win the game, but you can still top deck that next turn and have it on the spot regardless of what they do. Well, I'm certainly not going to tell you that the Darkrai Magnezone deck is bad. It's definitely very good. I think there are likely lots of things to explore, being able to have counterplay into it meaningfully in the competitive sense. Before this card was added to the game, it was tough for a lot of things to keep up. Yeah, I agree. I think too many people refer to S tier things as just like the best decks in the format are S. That's just not how it works. Your 140 HP EX is only 220 damage they have to deal to win the game, which is not a lot. We are going second. I'm going to lead Azelf against a Fighting Energy, I think. This card does a Farfetch'd impersonation with type advantage. We definitely tap the Mars Shadow to open here. That's lovely. Digging for our stage 1. Looks like pretty dependent on finding Mismagius relatively early, which is one of the reasons why we're playing a Singleton Communication. It's kind of a third copy of her. So if they retreat to Hitmonlee and to have Lucario, the Hitmonlee clears us in 2. This deck's playing 2 copies of Cyrus, so Azelf kind of lets you like set up the things you're hitting in the back line. So you get kind of a free-ish knockout point here. Oh, do they have double Lucario? Double Lucario would be bad for me. I just hit the Hitmonchan. Already someone who didn't drink alcohol and soda, so it's just like turning my sweet tea into unsweet tea for the most part. Eight cards, eh? We're ahead here, and the thing I want to think about is how do I play around them tagging something and then clearing us with Cyrus. I think I'm actually supposed to attack with this, and I probably should have put it up to begin with, but I think I'm supposed to attack with this. So that way, I clear this. And then they put this up, and if they draw a second Lucario, they clear this. And then Mismagius can come up and not clear this, but put it on Confusion. If they don't have second Lucario, we're in an incredible spot. Confusion in Pokemon Pocket just cancels their attack. It does not deal damage to them. In the paper card game, they take damage back. I think if you were playing with slots in this deck, the second copy of Dawn could be like a Giovanni or some other utility card. I'm pretty confident you want the 2 copies of Cyrus. They're pretty good. All right, and no what's it called here. No second Lucario in tandem with the fact that I have Cyrus means we're just done at this point. We get to pull this out, and we get to hit this, and then they can't clear us in 1 next turn, and then we'll drag the Lucario kicking and screaming back up the following turn after it retreats. Is Gardevoir still relevant in any Psychic decks? It was only relevant in Mewtwo, and there haven't been any other ones that popped up so far. Cyrus makes decks like what we're playing so much better. These little types of attackers that aren't doing big bursts, but you've got chip shots along with like really efficient 2 energy attacks like this. These types of decks would be just dead to something like Kabutops in the previous expansion most of the time, just because it has so much sustain. And the fact that we can be like, oh, by the way, we're just gonna like reach back here and grab back the thing you tried to escape with is very, very good. That one. That's true. Because they didn't have the second Lucario, Cyrus is the same as Sabrina. But it's worth noting if they had the second Lucario, that wouldn't be true.